action, but yes. I love flying around with the free cam. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
you actually kind of just get a little bit different view of the map that you never normally take a look at.
Right, I've actually been doing that a lot lately, more so than just the assisted cam. The assisted cam is nice, but you can't really spin around on certain teams. I've noticed whenever I'm on, say, the blue side to start or something, and I lock in, it keeps me facing that same way. So even if I lock in on, say, the red team, like, the other team's under me instead of behind them. So I'm sure there's a little bit of control features that I still have to get more familiar with. So bear with me. They will definitely get better and better as time progresses, but... Three, two, one. There you go, minute.
I am like 1 second behind you, and so I paused for a second. I think we'll be A-okay on the lineup now.
52,
So again,
51, 50.
Oh yeah, we're right on cue now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it really just comes back to kind of talking about what we did in the first one. Can Asclepius keep clearing those mid lane camps? Is Sanguine Fratres going to come out with a little bit more of an aggressive stance here right away, which they did last time? What exactly is going to happen? And, ooh, Geb is getting a little bit rough here. Ymir could go in for the freeze, just a little bit of damage or something's done. Oh, and good tornadoes by Ao Kuang. So throwing those down and eating a little bit of the health away.
Usually those Ao Kuang tornadoes do so much more damage early on, but it didn't really do a whole lot to them. So that was impressive. I usually get those and I'm like a quarter health already or something. But I'm also usually a squishier character. So they're waiting right now for mid lane camp. Yes, right? He's made of rock. I'm hard. You cannot kill me. He's like, he reminds me of like Arnold. I'm Arnold. Get to the chopper.
Yes, he's just rock hard. I love on his back how he's got like the little palm trees coming out there. That's my favorite part of his that Molten Fury skin.
Yeah, and it's a really good design. That's something High Res has definitely stepped up with. Based on the normal models back when I started and how they were doing revamps of Kali and all these other gods, they're definitely making them so much better. And even the newer ones, they're doing just awesome with to begin with, you know, from the start. So I got to give them a lot of credit with the way they've been doing these models. Like the Hebrew skin is obviously my favorite out of any of them.
Oh, Hebrew is so good. So looks like a pretty uneventful start, and it looks like an attempted... it looks like they're not going to be able to grab that mana camp as Asclepius snuck down on the right side, trying to get it. Not able to do so, and it looks like TheDannySaur may try to go in for this Hebo gank.
Oh, and he is.
In position.
Hebo knocking him up in the air and actually playing it very safe, which was a pretty smart idea considering he had the opportunity to run away. He barely got out of there with just a sliver of health, but it's still a win. He didn't get the kill.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Ao Kuang, this is where those tornadoes, I hate playing against him. If you love tap just a little bit inside that range, you just get the full brunt of the tornadoes, and it's pretty rough. But he's got enough potions. He's healing up slowly but surely. And Hunbat comes in to kind of drive him back and help out his mid laner. As on the left-hand side, TheDannySaur's kind of hanging out, but again, not able to get much done. And we'll see if Raging Bull, pulling out the Rama play, is going to be able to capitalize on the lack of a ban there.
Yeah, over here on the right side, Ra's got a pretty decent push-up on Hell here. She's got him in the tower. She's taking damage. One of the things that's really bad, people don't realize it. They think when you're coming into that tower that, oh man, they're going to take my tower. Yeah, it is getting damaged. But the thing that you lose out the most in the beginning of these matches by that is you're not getting farm. When that tower kills it, yeah, you get experience, but you're not getting any money. None. Absolutely none. Unless you get that final hit. Which, when you're this low, it's really hard to pull off. It's kind of alright with maybe Hell because you got two bursty AoE abilities, but as you can see right here, this whole time those are in there, she did not get gold for any of that wave right there. None of it. And that's not good. That's suffocating her, and that's one of the things that you want to keep doing early on in the game.
Yes, absolutely. I think you were spot on there, and that's kind of why that gold discrepancy slowly but surely kind of gets a little bit further and further out. And it looks like Rama getting pretty combat roll. I love his little combat roll. It's my favorite thing.
Macabre Knight with a nice little kill in the middle that I happened to miss. It must have been... Let's see. Let's take a look. Yes, it was. It was TheDannySaur. TheDannySaur must have cut across, and it seems like he used it. He would have used his ultimate. His ultimate is down, so Hebo must have came right out of there, got him caught coming through the jungle or something, and just securing that kill. Hebo's ultimate is very devastating even early on. It just does so much damage, and with the splash damage that he gets every 2 seconds, he can just burst out so much at one point. There's really not much you can do except for run.
Yeah, and over here at this left mid camp, there's a total tank fight going down. Oh, and I think Fratres might have been able to pull that off. Oh, but they might kill, as I had the slow-mo on yet again.
So did I, and I just kicked. Yep, and that's all right because I left it go till the kill was over, so at least it made it look good.
Yeah, I mean, the first one, you guys, we do that on purpose every time. 100% on purpose.
It's for first blood that we see.
Oh, excuse me. Where's Chaos, one of our StarCraft 2 casts? We need him with his first blood. He's got such a good voice for it.
First blood.
Yes, but Asclepius, Thanatos on this left side, looking to capitalize on Rama, but Rama smartly, not quite able to.
Oh, he's going to get him, I think.
Silence.
Oh, between the two of them, they pulled it off. Very well done and well played. It just wasn't enough time for him to get out. He tried. He wanted to, but that board just stopped him.
Yeah, and one of the problems with his ultimate is that when you go up in the air, you literally just come down in the exact same spot. So he wouldn't have been able to kill them entirely, so that was pretty rough. And, Geb trying to steal that mana buff, but not quite able to. And Asclepius is establishing themselves early on, not so much in a gold league, but at least they're trying to clear out those camps a little bit more, able to steal the blue buff away. And those are those little things that added up to them getting a victory last time in the first game. We'll have to see if they continue.
And over here, Epic Pandaren is actually playing really strong raw. He hasn't got pushed area, and I can see Hell's taking a nice little beating. So that little, they're just going to fight back and forth, healing one another, keeping themselves caught up. An advantage that Hell's going to have in this lane is she does have more sustain, not based on her heal, but she has more regen from her ultimate, and it gives her more increased ability power over the whole concept of all of her abilities, not one specific one. So it gives her a nice advantage. Plus she got speed bursts from using abilities in her white form versus the damage abilities in her dark form.
Oh, and Geb with an awesome Cataclysm on the left-hand side to freeze that Ymir in his tracks, able to just shut him down entirely. Great stuff as three of them ganged up on that Ymir. And Fratres evening it up just a little bit more with a 2-3 advantage in favor of Asclepius.
I see Thanatos is finally back out in lane. He looks like he wants to come over and pick on that Hell a little bit. He's coming around, and they both have wards, so Hell actually sees that coming. There's a ward right there beside where he's going, and he's changing his mind. They must realize that there's a ward. However, mid lane does not have any wards in his... Oh, wait. Yes, he does have a ward in his location. I couldn't see it over his blip. However, he's noticing it. Hunbats is trying to come in and maybe push him away with Geb, but they're all converging. Look at Al Kwong back here coming in and Amir taking that mid camp without them even noticing. I think they're in trouble. He just got out. Yep, he just got out.
But Fratres able to get that other one, so I mean they were able to pull it off. They got the second mid camp.
With that snipe through the wall! Oh my God! What a shot by Al Kwong through the wall. That barely had enough room to reach. That's the reason why you need wards. They actually sniped him through the wall without anybody even noticing him there. Such a good play. Hebo actually keeping them at bay too. Coming up, he's so much higher level than them. His splash does so much more damage. If he gets in range and still has his ultimate up, they're not going to be able to survive that. I think he's seeking out Thanatos here.
Oh, he needs to be careful as several of them are kind of queuing up. I think he saw more than one with the words, and two of them went back to base, so that helps out. But, yeah, what an ultimate. That was just awesome. Right at the tip of range and just no hesitation. Just, you know what, I'm throwing it, and boom.
I got a pretty good shot of that too. That was really nice. I mean, I got pretty much the whole range from where he shot it the whole way across. The only thing I didn't really see was him getting taken out, but it was pretty darn close. But for his wide range of how long that shot was, he hit him at the very tip and end of that ultimate through all of this grain and grass. So he hit him almost right where the ward was, and he is about back where this rock. So, I mean, that was quite the shot, not to mention to do blindly through a wall based off of a ward. It was such a good play.
Oh, those are the things that gets me all kinds of excited. Just great stuff, and it looks like Asclepius is able to be putting a good little push on this mid tower, which is now down to about a third of its health. So they are certainly pushing the advantage early on and are holding just about a 1k gold lead. And it looks like these mid camps, as soon as those rotates back in, and just a little bit longer, that'll be another point of contention as both these teams realize the importance of those.
Yeah, neither of them have any towers down, however. That mid tower is awfully close, so I don't know if they're going to be able to get that here relatively soon. But with Alquang's push, usually that's an advantage he does have over Hebo, because you can kind of block Hebo from coming in and using his splash and his spout on the the minions and stuff. He usually wants to save the spout for whenever you try to knock up the opposing opponent to hit them into your splash and then ultimate, or at least that's usually my succession of things. Wasting that because it has the longer recoil. The cooldown. I can't talk today. Cooldown.
There you go.
Yeah, cooldown. You don't want to recall sitting there getting run out and getting caught up without having some kind of knock-up ability, because it's also a good way to escape, because it prevents people from casting for a moment as well.
Yes, and oh no, Rama's out a little bit far. Thanatos and Ymir behind. Oh, a great roll just in time. Oh, a sick dodge on the site. Able to put that together, throws the beads, able to avoid the freeze, and that was excellent there, being able to bait out a little bit and not taking much damage at all. That Rama, Raging Bull, showing his stuff, and he may be getting MVP if they are able to pull off this win.
He's been really performing well in both of these matches. I mean, he's putting everything he's got into it. He's getting a high damage count, and he's not dying. I mean, I don't know how to say it. He's got one of the only deaths really on his team, but he's just not. And there's a nice little engagement going down here in the mid lane against Hebo. Hebo's trapped. I think they're going to secure this one. Absolutely. With Thanatos taking him out, he just had nowhere to run. He tried to use the Yellow River to get himself out of there. He just couldn't do it with the Ymir while keeping him inside that lane. However, you got Geb and Hunbats coming up here from the backside, trying to think if they can get on that kill for Ymir, but probably not going to be able to pull it off.
Yes, and that was an expertly timed Aegis right at the peak when that Thanatos was coming down for the ultimate, able to mitigate a ton of damage there, but just not quite able to. And Geb coming in on the backside from this Artemis over on the left side. They're trying to get her. Can they freeze her enough? And it looks like no, maybe. Oh, tons of damage going down. Able to use those astral arrows to just put a little bit more damage on. But meanwhile, Ao Kuang's going to finish off that center tower. Potentially, no, we just can't quite get it. There's no health on the mini-map. That thing will go down if somebody breathes heavily on it. So any creeps or anything that get in there are going to tear it down.
I almost enjoy it better whenever they're that way, because it can give you a nice little bit of an edge against your mid laner if they don't notice that it's that low. Oh, and a nice little engagement. Thanatos coming over to try and take Hell. Hell healing enough to get up. I don't know if his ultimate's going to be enough to kill her directly off. It's not, but he's still going in to try. She healed enough to run around with a nice play with Thanatos even circling around and use the site to actually finish her off and get out of the tower without dying. Hebo coming over to seal the deal. Use the ultimate and does snag him just at the tip. Now he's trying to retreat with Raw chasing him down. Raw getting a nice amount of damage in. Hebo turning around, trying to engage. It is not successfully doing it. He's taking so much minion damage, I don't think he's going to do it. And Ao Kuang coming over to just finalize and secure that kill. Such a good play in keeping him held off. I think if he would have actually hit that spout, he may have been able to take out that Raw in time to get away before Ao Kuang would have got him.
Yes, Hunbats tried to come over there and just missed on the teleport Ra as he was going out. So right now, 7-3 and in favor of Asclepius. They are up by a good amount of gold here. And a Cataclysm going down on Ao Kuang, but not quite hitting. Ao Kuang's getting out of there with his little wiggly wiggle, trying to get out of there as quickly as possible.
Wiggle, wiggle. However, he did go in. He played a smart move. Whenever he came in to try and get Ao Kuang, he actually went in instead of letting Geb come after him, just took out the tower and then started to attack. Most people immediately turn around and want to defend themselves, which is a pretty big mistake because you're not getting that kill and they could potentially kill you, or you're just going to run and not get the tower. So he played a smart move securing the tower first.
Yeah, Sanguine Fratres just jumped in and got both mid camps. They're Geb jumped in. Sorry, that is Dormant 123 jumped in. Got a lot of the mid camps. Oh, and they're actually going for Gold Fury. Asclepius Gaming, that is. And oh, they do get it. So that does kind of change things up just a little bit. And another big team fight coming in here. Thanatos up in the air. He's trying to come back. I think he's trying to go down on Geb. No. Does not look like it is. Oh, another huge ult from Ao Kuang through a wall. Able to get Hebrew Macabre Knight now escaping. And it looks like no damage done to either team in terms of kills. But certainly a fight. Oh, and just as I say that, Hell fights back on the right lane and is able to get a kill. Sanguine for Fratres will not go away.
They're not going down without a fight. I mean, everybody's coming in. They're trying to gank. They're getting counters, and they're running away. They're not letting anybody get any secured kills. So that's good. I mean, they know that each one of them can bring something to the table based off of both first and the second game. So they're a little bit more edgy to try and give anybody a nice lead, especially Raging Bull. I mean, Raging Bull with any of his ADCs so far has just been so good at carrying. And you got Ao Kuang here trying to take a little bit of damage. Notice that Hebo was sneaking up on him and actually gave him a bigger amount of damage in return. Those tornadoes are devastating, and they're so easily to accidentally walk into. It's almost like they jump out at you.
Yes, absolutely, and like I said, just a little bit. Oh, and Geb Cataclysm on. Thanatos able to use his shield. Thanatos chooses not to engage, which is a very good idea with Hunbats right on the corner. Hell, oh, Hunbats may be getting overextended. Ao Kuang not quite coming back over. It looks like he's trying to fight for the mid camp. Oh, using that ultimate that Fear No Evil can. Thanatos get up. Yes, he does. Now Hunbats is out of position. Ultimate coming down. Oh, and the heal from Ra coming in. Oh, and Ra able to land that squall, but Hunbats able to capitalize and then escape over the wall. Geb and Hell are there to protect him and heal, and that is a beautiful move. Oh, Hunbats, I was so worried for you, man. Real rough.
The best part about it, man, is I risked it. I went and I was following him through that whole third-person cam, and what a play. He came in through, jumped back in, secured the kill, got a nice little escape. It was beautifully done. I mean, a little edgy and sketchy. You never know how that's going to turn out. You do have to gamble sometimes, but it turned out in their favor this time. So it's a nice little flip of plays. I think they may actually give themselves a nice little comeback because they're still close. We've noticed that there's really not many towers down. There's only, 2 towers so far taken completely from the entire match. It's 1-1. They're both within 2,000 gold of each other. It's not far off from one another again. This is still another very close match. Same thing we had last game, so it can be anybody's turn again. You don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah, I do have to give you mad props for that spectating. I just looked over at the stream and saw it, and oh, it was very, very tasty. Good choice to snap into that third-person view.
We actually just had a nice another little play here. Ao Kuang was chasing down Hell here in the middle, got a nice tornado off and hit him with an ult and just devastated her, just wiped her out with that one ultimate. And there's another nice fight coming down in. We got Ao Kuang coming in, dropped the tornado a little bit early, didn't quite get the hit with Thanatos coming in to secure the kill on Hunbats. And everybody else is backing off with Hunbats and Amir going in. They want a little bit more. Ao Kuang now turning around, chasing back out into mid lane, following Artemis to go up for this mid lane push. I believe they want that tower.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They're kind of all gathering up at the present moment. Ra lagging just a little bit behind. They're trying to hold on. Raging Bull doing a nice job here, taking out the creeps, trying to get it. Looks like they will not be able to take down the tower as much, but they certainly have an advantage, and Ao Kuang's tornadoes not quite able to connect.
It looks like they're spreading out now. They want to get buffs. They did a nice little push. They got a kill out of some things, and now they just want to go back, farm a little bit more, get a bit more of an edge over the other team, and then come back up with another big push, or possibly get one of the important camps. I think they're focusing on Gold Fury right now. I see Mookhips is going over in that direction. And actually, he just keeps on running. He must be going to lane to try and collect that farm. Over here in right lane, we got Thanatos, Amir, and Ra all going in to rush to get that tower. So they want to do that, and I believe I see what's going on now is they're doing a split push. They're going to have that whole right lane push up, which what a nice little ultimate there. Coming in, taking him out. Now, Ao Kuang ulted in and did not actually get a hit on that. That was very close. It just went up right before all the guards right there in that whole entire lane. So it's enough for Hebo to secure that kill without taking much damage. But they did manage to get that tower, so they didn't go completely unhanded. Now they're flowing over into mid lane while they were checking out Fire Giant here. But they didn't place a ward. I don't know why they would all flow that way and do not have some kind of way to see if the opposing team is going to get it. But Sanguine for Fratres is still interested in returning the favor. They want to get some towers.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like they're going to be focusing down mid tower. And now something to keep an eye on is Gold Fury is just again. Oh, great tornadoes from Ao Kwang. Going to throw down just a ton of damage, but not quite able to get enough. Oh, and jumping out of the way of that alt Hunbats. You dangerous, dangerous man. Now dodging Ra and Geb with the shield. Hunbats, you sneaky little monkey. You are jumping in and out all over the place, giving me a heart attack, my man.
He's making the game very interesting and entertaining. That's what we like. They're now trying to go over and converge on what it looks like to be Gold Fury. I don't know if others realize they're doing it. They just took out a ward.
Yeah, I think they have to know, and it looks like everyone's kind of converging. Oh, and we're going to have another team fight here as everyone's coming in. Oh, no, Ymir blinking in. Great move, though, with the Aegis and the ult. Hebo taking kind of minimal damage, able to get that Geb shield. Now, Artemis with the ultimate. The board going down, not connecting, trying to chase back. Raging Bull going up in the air, not going to be able to get to come down in a lot of damage, so he's certainly done. Geb, certainly going to be out. Thanatos comes down to finish off Rama. Another ult coming in. Boom, Macabre Knight going down, and that's 3 of them. Big time swing there for Asclepius Gaming.
They're coming back around now to get
a little bit too far.
No, Mookips is actually taking out Hunbats pretty good. Oh, with the nice amount of arrows. That rain of arrows came down just on the edge, just enough to get that Hunbats to secure that kill. What a risky event, though. He did go in there kind of risking a lot with 2 of them potentially coming out after him, and he just took out Hunbats with Hunbats trying to retreat, and it wasn't enough. And now you have them going in with Asclepius Gaming, getting this Fire Giant buff, and it might actually give them the push they need to get a bit more of an advantage. They are up about 5k gold right now, almost dead even 5k gold. So this is going to give them a nice little increase as well as that. So you figure they're going to be probably at least 8k gold increase after this. In fact, there you go. They just went up another by getting a tower with Ao Kwang off to the side, and they're just jeopardizing and taking over all these camps.
Yes, and they have to watch out because the Gold Fury is also available, so that's a little rough now. Ao Kwang getting mid-camp as well. That's Sanguine for Fratres needs to take a look at that Gold Fury and make sure. I'm not sure. Yes, Artemis is going to just try to go for it solo.
With that Fire Giant buff and the lifesteal, he's not even really taking any damage. When he gets hit, he's just healing it back up with 1 crit or 2. It may take him a little bit longer than expected to kill it, but the thing you do when this is happening, it's risky, because if somebody comes in and you can't kill it quick enough before a hog goes off, you're going to lose that buff. I've had it happen before, so it's kind of a luck of the draw, but he did get away with it, and they got themselves a Gold Fury kill. With Sanguine for Tears here, now seems like they're defending mid lane, expecting that attack with Fire Giant.
Yes, and this is kind of a little bit. Oh, and they just warded and are now seeing that that is gone. That very, very much really hurts for them. And it looks like their ward also just got taken out, so a little bit of a waste there, as there is the sentry ward there as well. So Asclepius Gaming now doing what they did in the first one very, very well, starting to kind of bury the team, as we talked about in that first game, as now they are up by 9,000 gold, and we are just saying how they're up by 5,000. So again, they're able to do it, and smartly with I think a well-placed ward, or maybe just intuition. Epic Pandaren is able to run away, and it looks like we might have a little bit of an awkward team fight here, but Asclepius Gaming not in a very good position.
But they're converging well. They're converging well. You got 3 coming in. They know what's going on. They're coming in because they see how risky their team is trying to be to get in there and fight, which now they're just coming in together as a whole. That whole group sitting up in the tower just waiting for it, worried about Ao Kwang just dropping a nice tornado right there. Could have been interesting, which he tried, but they already spread out. Now they're going and spreading around, going around back, probably trying to pull out some little squishies as they can. However, Thanatos and Rob being in lane, it only leaves so many there for an actual lot of burst of damage, which would be Artemis.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit interesting to see who's going to be able to pull this off. Both teams kind of traveling in packs now, so they are never too far away. Oh, and it looks like the Cataclysm goes out there trying to focus down Artemis. Not quite able to do so. Artemis leaves behind the boar. Hunbats is not going to be able to follow. An ultimate by Ao Kwang. Swing and a connection with Geb way in the back.
Yeah, Artemis definitely pulled away on that one, using sprint and everything to get out. Ultimate, she burned whatever she had to try and go away. She's trying to save that buff. That buff is going to make her so much more, devastating whenever she gets to these towers. And ADCs are the best thing you got. Magics and everybody else, like mages, they can do damage to a tower, but not like an ADC can. They just kill them so much quicker.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And Raging Bull, clutch beads there. These players are doing a very, very nice job, but they are back against the rope. It's a split push. That right tower is definitely done, and they're able to actually kill a member of Sanguine Fratres in the mid, clearing out that right-hand side. And it looks like Artemis on the right-hand side is going to try to go for the Phoenix solo. Ram is going to go over, try to deny that. Hell's trying to maintain in the middle under the Phoenix, attempting to clear out the creep lines as they come in. Meanwhile, Raba jumps back over to join in, and it looks like Sanguine Fratres, at least for right now, is stabilized. But again, it looks like the speed buff just went down. Thanatos getting the blue buff and XP camp. I mean, Asclepius is just clearing them out as soon as they push back.
Yeah, they're not letting them get anywhere near that first jungle path, the ones that go from left to right there. I mean, if it wasn't for that Phoenix, they probably wouldn't let them go out the next one. They're trying to keep them so far pushed up because they don't feel they can contend in a nice big battle, which really right now the teams are a little bit undersided. I mean, one-sided. You got almost 4 of the, more or less more than half of their team is almost 20 already, as compared to the other ones, their highest are 17. So they really need to worry about focusing on getting that far, but they can't do it because they're just not letting it happen. They won't let them out of their base.
Absolutely, and as soon as they do, I mean, they're all kind of swarming around. They just went back, so they got a whole bunch of more upgrades in the bottom. You can see like Delta Railgun almost finishing out the build, as most of them are now selling those starter items. And you can see on the left-hand side, those players still have almost 2 empty slots across the board. And, you know, our Asclepius gaming people are finishing out some builds, and Artemis almost in a little bit of trouble, but not quite. And it looks like they want to try to take Fire Giant again, as it is moments away from coming back. Both teams in pretty good position, so we'll have to see how it goes down.
Yeah, they're definitely thinking about it. They don't know who's going to go after it first, but you got Al Kwong, Amir, and Ra. Now Artemis coming around the side, just waiting to go in. And then you have Geb and everybody else coming around the side, with Al Kwong hitting a nice little hit, taking Hebo almost down to half life. So that's a nice little power burster that they got out of the way, or at least potentially keeping him at bay a little bit, you know, be a little more risk. He doesn't want to go in and take any more damage like that, or else he'll be an easy snipe from Al Kwong, which we've already seen he is very, very good at doing. They're keeping them pushed back away from Fire Giant, too. Like, as you can see, they're trying to keep them pushed back into their towers. Like, they're not letting them come into any side of their base, and they know not to focus on that Fire Giant first. They just want to initiate that fight because they are confident they're going to win based on these, you know, the different levels that they have.
Oh, and a huge Cataclysm coming in from Geb, able to get in there. Now an ultimate going down from Ymir. He gets out. Oh, and another ultimate. 2 of them are now going down. Oh, this is getting a little bit out of hand. Could Asclepius go for the deicide here? There's a triple kill. Could we see it? Could we see the pentakill? No, and it gets denied with Rob being able to pick off one. Hunbat's desperately trying to get out there and not quite able to, but Artemis with the triple in decent position there, potentially for the pentakill. And I wonder, they may just try to burn down this Phoenix and go right for the Titan with a long respawn. They have 15 seconds before any other members are back, and it looks like no, they didn't quite burn this down quick enough. I doubt they would go in directly for it, but they may try to take out the middle Phoenix as well.
Or at least put some damage on it. They got that lane pushed up far enough that I feel if they really went in after it and just pushed the lane up a little bit, they could probably poke it a little bit more. It seems like they're more concerned about that Fire Giant buff.
Yeah,
look at him. He went.
They're just diving back.
Yep, yeah. Thanatos is like, you know what, the heck with this. I don't care about the tower. We did get one. Let's go back, get the Fire Giant buff, force them to, you know, defend again and keep them at bay. And I mean, they're laying everything into this to get this dropped quick, which was smart. They used all their alts. Ra used theirs. Al Kwong. Yeah, they just went all out to get that out of the way, because here they come. There's Geb. You got Hunbats coming up around the back end side just to try and see it, and they're already in and out before they even can see them. Well done.
Yep.
Such a stealth play.
Yep, a team teleport. You know, now they're up by 18,000 gold, so that's exactly what they wanted to do. They're now all rounding out their builds, as it looks like Delta Railgun, the first to actually complete his build beginning to end. So absolutely great stuff there, and they're really rounding things out. And unfortunately, you know, Sanguine Fratres is just kind of like they were in that first game. They're so far behind. A lot of them only have 4 items, some of them including a starter item, so they just do not quite have enough of those passives and cool things that those, you know, third-tier items give you to really round out their builds and make them really viable. But they're certainly not going to give up, as they knew that they won that second game pretty convincingly. So we'll have to see, but certainly got to think it's in Asclepius Gaming's hand here. It's kind of their game to lose.
It definitely seems like it's going in their favor, just because They got the Fire Giant buff. All of their members are 20 except for their tank, so they're going to have a lot more damage coming back out. And their lowest members of the other team is basically some of their damage dealers. And as you can see right there with Hebo going into that, they just got more or less crushed because they couldn't do enough damage based on the differences of level. Not so much just the gear. The gear does provide a much more, of an advantage over what they have, or a balancer, but the levels are really what gets you the big increase, because your abilities increase based off of what you use it on. So that one level could be the biggest difference ever in that one fight.
Yes, absolutely. And it looks like they're going to try to take down all three Phoenix Eye. Phoenix Eyes?
Phoenix
A
Eyes.
little bit silly there. Yes. But it looks like that Titan is going to be in big time trouble as they all come in. Ultimate's coming down. They're trying to burn. Going down, and Asclepius Gaming comes away with the victory, 2-1.